The Pastor Who Hated Church. Follow Elvis Jung on his journey of redemption. Chapter 10. The table prides itself in its nonconformity. The weekly family reunions, what might be called their worship services, always take place on Saturday night, explained Kip. Elvis arrived at the reunion half an hour before the dinner. He felt like a kid starting at a new school. He spotted Chris, who laughed at him for wearing a tie. "You look like you're at a funeral," she said. "Maybe you should ditch the grandpa clothes." Someone Elvis didn't know rushed over. "Chris, Stewie and Randy have a question about supper. Something about the vegan menu." "Sorry, man, I gotta sort this out," Chris said to Elvis before going to the kitchen. Elvis wandered over to the counter and waited to see who else would show up. Sparrow was the next person to arrive. She looked different. Urban, yet refined. She spotted Elvis across the room and smiled. "Hey, you made it," said Sparrow. "You sound surprised." "It's just that you looked a little stunned yesterday." "I wouldn't say stunned. Maybe a little overwhelmed." Sparrow laughed. "Whatever. At least you got guts." "Do I need 'em?" "Some people never take risks. It's sad. The life of faith is all about taking risks. That's what makes it so awesome." I hadn't thought about it like that before. "Are you playing tonight?" "Yeah. We're going to introduce 2 new worship songs tonight," said Sparrow. "That's pretty exciting. Risky even." Sparrow laughed. "You're funny." On the stage, several band members were tuning up. "That's my cue. Save me a spot for dinner, 'kay?" "Sure thing." Kip wandered over. "Food's awesome. Stewie and Randy sure have a gift with food." The room was now buzzing with activity. "How many usually come to these, reunions?" asked Elvis. "We have seating for 60. Sometimes we have to add tables. Sometimes not. Whoever comes, comes." "Nice. Where are you sitting?" "I don't know yet," said Elvis. "Sparrow asked me to save her a seat for the dinner." "Cool beans, man," said Kip as he nudged Elvis in the ribs. Elvis noticed 3 people carrying easels and canvases. They placed them at the back of the room and set up their pallets. Chris snuck up and nudged Elvis. "Hey, stranger. What do you think of our little gathering so far?" said Chris. "Mom," said Kip, "ready to record?" "We're good to go. Vesh and Guy are setting up the lighting right now. We'll be able to go live in about 10. "Live?" asked Elvis. "All our reunions are broadcast live over the internet. Last week we had over 16,000 hits," said Chris. "Wow," said Elvis. "That's crazy, right?" said Chris. "People want to plug into what we're doing," said Kip. "According to their feedback, they love the music. Because of the jam worship sessions, the music's always fresh. People want to see what's new, fresh content. It's all about the fresh content," said Chris. "That's good to know," said Elvis. Again, he was distracted by the painters at the back of the room. "What are they doing?" "Who? Oh, them. They're painting their interpretation of the reunion. It's how they use their spiritual gifts," said Kip. He looked at his watch. "Speaking of gifts, I got to go use mine." Kip sauntered up to the stage. "I still don't get the painters," said Elvis. "Everyone has a gift, right? Something God gives each of us. It's our responsibility to develop those gifts and use them for God's glory. The painters are doing that by painting the reunion. Sometimes they're abstract, sometimes impressionist, sometimes they're just way out there. That's not the point. They're just doing what we want everyone to do. Use their gifts for the glory of God," said Chris. Elvis nodded. "What's your gift?" asked Chris. "Theology, but I'm not sure if it's a gift or a passion." "They're best when they're both," said Chris. "So what's your passion?" "I'm a geek." "You're passionate about being a geek?" Chris laughed. "You've got a sense of humor. I like that." Kip stepped up to the mic, and the gathering began to hush. "Welcome to the family reunion at the table. If this is your first time with our family, welcome. I have only one wish for you. Be fed. I know one way or another you will be." There were chuckles in the crowd. "For those of you online, I'm sorry you're missing the food, but you can still be fed. I hope you're fed with spiritual food. We'll be dishing it out, and I hope you're ready to eat it up. Before we begin, I have a couple of announcements. First, if you're part of the upcoming flash mob, remember we're having a rehearsal Monday night. It's only a couple of weeks away, Make sure you get in touch with Ainsley over there. She's our resident drama queen." There was more laughing. "We'll get this party started after we take care of one more piece of business. We're blessed with an exciting opportunity. We want to take this ministry to the next level. To do that, we need to bring in some high-level talent. Standing at the back with Chrysanthemum Anderson is Elvis Jung. He's a theologian with a techno twist. He's a deep thinker who's also a gifted wordsmith. If you're as excited as I am to have him on board, please join me by giving him a big round of applause." Elvis blushed at the welcome he received. Chris laughed and punched him on the shoulder. "How's it feel to be a celebrity?" "No pressure," said Elvis. "Don't worry, this place is totally stress-free," said Chris. The band started up and the room started jumping. To Elvis, it felt more like a rock concert than a church service. The words of the songs were posted on a screen above the band, and many in the crowd were singing along with the music. Space was set aside for dancers to express themselves through movement. If anything could be said of the worship at the table, it's that it's noisy. Elvis stood at the back of the room and watched the chaos. He was more confused than anything. Between the painters, the dancers, the musicians, and the cooks, this resembled nothing like he'd ever seen before. After a few rocking songs, Sparrow started to slow things down. The decrescendo in the music led to a crescendo in worshipful sentiment. Dancers stood still and raised their arms. Painters stood back and dabbed gently at their canvases. Kip returned to the stage. The music settled to a hush as Kip spoke to the group. Elvis tried to be attentive, but he found it difficult. Sparrow came down and sat down next to Elvis. He found himself between Sparrow and Chris. It felt good. The whole service, the three of them passed notes back and forth. Every so often they'd giggle about something Kip said. Kip ended the service with a benediction, something Elvis thought was odd for such an unconventional church. That was until he heard the actual benediction. "Lord, thank you for giving us the ability to rock your house. Thank you for the pigments in the paint, the guy who created the system for recording music. Thank you for giving us taste buds so we can try awesome new flavor combinations. Thank you for language so we can have a way of expressing our praise to you. Now be with us as we eat great food. May our fellowship make you proud to be our Father. Amen." Kip jumped off the stage and was mobbed like a rock star. Elvis stayed in his seat, not knowing what to do. "Do you like this place so far?" said Chris. "It's great," said Elvis. "Yeah, you like it? What do you like about it?" asked Sparrow. "I don't know. The music was great. There are a lot of people here," said Elvis. "But it's smaller than where you came from," said Chris. "Was your last church big?" asked Sparrow. "Sparrow, it was huge. He was at Evergreen," said Chris. "Dude, that place is old school," said a guy across the table. "I'm Nick, by the way." "Nice to meet you," said Elvis. "Nick's our tech guy," said Chris. "I thought you were the tech goddess," said Elvis. "Software. Nick's the hardware guy. You'll be meeting with him tomorrow. He'll set you up with everything you need," said Chris. "I want a piece of you tomorrow, too. I have a couple of ideas for music downloads off our website," said Sparrow. "Give him a chance to settle in," snapped Chris. Elvis thought he noticed a dirty look as well. "I'll have you set up in no time. What'd you prefer, desktop or laptop? Personally, I like the portability of the laptop. On great days, I don't want to be stuck inside. You'll be totally wired up, so you'll be online wherever." "It'll be awesome, I promise," said Nick. "That sounds cool. Theology on the go," said Elvis. "If he's got a minute, that'll be enough," said Sparrow. "I'm going to need to meet with you, too. He needs to be set up on our system. That'll take a while. We've got a lot of admin stuff to take care of," said Chris. "That's fine. I only need a minute," said Sparrow. "How can you meet with Elvis tomorrow? Don't you have rehearsal for the jam sessions?" said Nick. "Yeah, but that's in the afternoon," said Sparrow. "We're going to blow his whole morning," said Nick. Sparrow looked downcast. "I guess I can wait." Kip came by and set a plate in front of Elvis. "I hope you like chicken Florentine," he said. Elvis sat back and watched the crowd as it gathered for dinner. It was a wild scene. There was a lot of laughing. A few people were serving. After dinner, another group cleared the tables. Elvis got up to help. "Nope, sit," said Sparrow. "Today you're a guest of honor." "Are you sure?" said Elvis. "You're my guest," said Sparrow. "Do you want coffee?" "I'd love a cup," said Elvis. Chris jumped up. "What do you want in it? Sparrow, you clear the table. I'll get Elvis his coffee." Sparrow glared at Chris. They disappeared in different directions. Nick leaned forward and whispered to Elvis, "How'd you like being fought over by 2 available women?" "What are you talking about?" asked Elvis. "You don't see it? Really?" "Actually, I did kind of know something, but I thought it was just me. What's up with them?" "Don't let it go to your head. They're ultra-competitive. You're the latest thing to fight over," said Nick. "Oh," said Elvis. Somehow he felt disappointed. He liked thinking he was worth fighting over. "For some reason, they're like oil and water. If you're nice to one, it'll drive the other one crazy. It's totally hilarious." "Were they like this with you?" "Dude, they're like this with everyone. Take my advice. Your life will be a lot easier if you ignore it. Eventually, they'll find someone else to fight about." "How crazy can that get?" "You have no idea, dude. Seriously." Elvis watched the crowd thin out. He didn't know what to do, but stayed out of a sense of obligation. He grabbed a cloth and wiped down tables until Chris ripped the cloth from his hand. When he grabbed a broom, Sparrow stopped him and told him to sit. With people buzzing around, Elvis was confined to a seat by himself at the back of the room. Eventually, Kip sat down beside him. "So," said Kip. "Yeah," said Elvis. Kip laughed. "You say a lot with the fewest words. What are your plans Monday?" "I thought I'd come in and try and figure things out. Nick told me he'd set me up with some hardware." "That's great. If you have a chance, pop by my office. I'd like to get you up to speed on a few areas, okay?" "What time?" asked Elvis. Kip laughed again. "Just whenever. In the meantime, I think we're done here. Go home tonight, rest up on Sunday, because on Monday, we dance. Ole!" Elvis didn't know how to respond to that. He stood up, looked for Sparrow and Chris. They were both busy, so Elvis slipped out quietly. When he got home, he flopped on the couch and he thought about the day. He'd been hired by a church, or whatever they called it, without knowing what he was supposed to do. That made him nervous. He settled into bed. At least he was in a church that wasn't going to micromanage him to death. Thank you for listening to The Pastor Who Hated Church, written by Timothy G.A. Cooper, narrated by Greg Cooper. Tune in next week to hear the next chapter in Elvis Jung's Tale of Redemption.